Hi, I'm Coach Jim Stroker, and I'd like to give special thanks to Native Nation Events for supporting the R Zone podcast. Native Nation Events is a nationally recognized conference organizer catering to elected officials, top executives, and decision makers throughout the Native American industry. I've had the honor of speaking at a number of their events and conferences, and let me tell you something. These are powerful experiences that help shape the future of Native American community, and I'm proud to do my part in any way. So please show your support and learn more at nativenationevents.org. That's nativenationevents.org, and thank you for supporting the R Zone podcast, wherever you get your favorite podcasts. So how do you measure a great performer? How do you measure anyone who's really at the top of their game? I measure them by what they do in difficult environments. So we know it, like anybody can do their best when they feel like it. But if you're put in these high stakes environments and you shine, then I know you're good. And on this week's episode in the R Zone, we're welcoming Maria Salvatore. And, Maria and I have some fun stories, but one of the ones we're going to go into is walking in to the Hudson County Correctional Facility and having 350 inmates look at Maria and say, "Why are you here?" And have her just take that audience and transform them, make an impact. So I don't know how you measure a performer, but I think it's in really difficult environments, and she shines in those. Today, we're going to get a chance to really talk about it. It's all happening right now on the R Zone. When you put your head on that pillow tonight, you've got one question. Are you glad you did, or do you wish you had?
The R Zone with Coach Jim Stroker.
We've all had people along the way in life who make a lasting impression. For me, one of those people was my high school basketball coach, Jim Stroker. He's coached hundreds of us teenage boys over the years and raised three of the most remarkable kids you'll ever meet.
I have coached hundreds of thousands of games right on these fields right here. But there's only one game that truly counts, and that game is your life. And you will be measured in that game by how you respond. E plus R equal O. The events, many of which are out of your control, plus your response, which is 100% on you, will equal the outcome. And now we're about to lean in on the power of your response. The R Zone. This is a podcast to share conversations on our own hero's journey. These are stories that have shaped my life and the mindset I hope that will help shape yours. This is coaching for life. It's not where we've been, it's all about where we're going. The R Zone is the space between stimulus and response. The R Zone is where you have the power to choose your response.
And now, join Jim Stroker in the R Zone.
Okay, we're here at last, and I'm here with the great Maria Salvatore. I am so excited about this episode because I believe that what Maria is doing, what she's actually demonstrating for all of us, is a model for everyone who's gone through a challenge. So I'm Coach Jim Stroker here, and this is getting more and more exciting because what I'm trying to do is bring people out, bring people forward who you all can learn from. So Maria, we've known each other for about 10 years, I think, something like that. But your journey is so special, and that's why I wanted to have you here. Because I, as a life coach, get a chance to talk to a lot of people who have gone through challenges. They've gone through difficulty, and oftentimes they're stuck. Oftentimes they can't move forward on that hero's journey. And you are the epitome of the role model, the North Star of someone who's gone through a major trauma in your life. And then from that, you took that dark cave you went through, accrued the treasures, the gifts, and now you spend your whole life helping other people get through the same challenges you did. I know that was long-winded, but just comment on that introduction.
It's interesting. We met I guess it was when I first moved back to New Jersey from Westchester, which was 2013, 2012. But actually in 2008, I moved back to New Jersey. So we had been practicing yoga at Hot Yoga together.
Yep.
And I met you because I was just coming out of a really dark night of the soul. Actually, thinking back, I had started teaching. You came to my yoga class.
Yep.
And I basically been just coming out of a really bad bottom with alcohol and substance drugs and mental health. And I hadn't really shared. I had a yoga studio that I had just closed down that I was very ashamed about. I didn't really share it with a lot of people. And I was recreating myself here in New Jersey. Yeah. And I started teaching again and at different studios in New Jersey. Yeah. And just after a really bad bout with mental illness and drugs and alcohol. And then you came to my first class, and I'll never forget it. I was reading out of a book. I was so nervous. I had been teaching for years and years and years, but I just couldn't find my voice and so terrified. And after that last in the episode, and then you were there in your Speedo. Just so excited I remember you just came in with your positive energy and so infectious and motivating like you do and living the way you live and just really locked into what I was saying, what I was doing. And it actually gave me the strength to teach. And then we just had a conversation after. And from there, it's evolved so much. And, slowly I was given the teachers and the people and the therapists and my own practices of yoga to help me heal from all of that. And you look back and the pain is the purpose. Yeah. It gives you that ability to serve others.
Right. And now you just like there's no lid, right? There's no top for you. Like when anytime I get anything that's totally out of the box, do you want to go to Hawaii to do a Native American leadership conference and teach inner skills to this group? It's yes. Do you want to go to Key Largo to work with survivors, special ops survivors, women who have lost their spouses? Yes. Do you want to go to the Hudson County Jail and walk in with 400 inmates? Yes. So I know it seems like you walk a bit timid, but there's a fearlessness in you, a lack of fear and almost desire to go into these deep, dark, scary areas that you've been at. So why do you think that you seem to just navigate towards and are infectious in situations of high trauma?
After that last bottom, I just, I woke up inside of me in the hospital in a psychiatric unit, okay, you're still on this planet. You didn't die from addiction, which so many people do die from addiction and drug addiction and mental health by hands of suicide ideation, whatever it is. And I don't know, it was almost like a spiritual awakening that I can't really describe, where it was okay, you didn't, so you have it's like a crossroad and okay, you can either get better or you don't. And I just started one moment at a time, one opportunity at a time. I really feel like God has a plan and I just need to execute it. So every opportunity I'm presented with, sometimes impulsively, I'll just be okay, let's do it. And with you, it's I just feel very safe with you. Yeah. So we venture into these populations and I just share what has helped me so much, which is, the yoga, the meditation, now sound, vibration, just because a lot of those populations are just in terms of trauma, and I think we're all traumatized to an extent. Mm-hmm. It's just body doesn't feel safe. And so addiction and mental health, it's a whole body. It's not just the mind. It's the body. It's the nervous system. And I really don't think that there's a chemical solution to a spiritual problem, which is something, that emptiness that I had at and it's just share tools that have helped me so much. Yeah. And so any opportunity that I'm presented which always comes through you, I just jump on like, okay, this is an opportunity to share these tools with whoever's in front of me, whether it's a studio class, whether it's someone I meet on the street, or the opportunities that we do. Yeah. I mean, the jail, how amazing is going into the jail?
It's incredible. You know, one of the things that intrigues me the most about you is, you know, there's a lot of yoga teachers and yoga practitioners, and they kind of hit the surface level a little bit. You know, they're there and they're teaching poses, and you know, it's kind of like a rookie experience. You've taken this voracious, like drive to understand at the deepest depths. I mean, you have your 500-hour yoga class, right? You teach the 200. You've got 5 more 100. You've got a certification in addiction, in trauma. I mean, you have studied and studied and studied and studied more than most people I've ever met. So what makes this continual drive to learn that makes you, I think, desirous of finding out something that's hidden underneath the mat?
I mean, I'm forever a student. I'm definitely like a student as well. I think I'm on this path of evolving and changing and shifting, and the poses in itself, I mean, I've done many different certifications. The poses in itself, just target the freeze, flight, fight muscles. So the shoulders, your hips, they'll work in itself. So even if a teacher is more on the superficial, just physicality of the practice, I shouldn't even say superficial. It suffices. It works the way it's supposed to work. And then, I mean, for me, I needed a little bit more because I suffered from, and still to some extent, suffered from tremendous anxiety and depression. And that, to me, I felt better after yoga. So I wanted to seek like, how does this work? So just basically on how neurotransmitters work in your body. Basically, when we have anxiety, it's the body's alarm system. I don't feel safe, whether it's subconscious or conscious. Mm-hmm. And I think for any sort of mental health, it has to do with past life experience, environment, brain chemistry, and just genetics sometimes. Yeah. And sometimes it can be an environment. Yeah. So the reason why I love yoga is because it hits those aspects. And that's why I like to target all those aspects of the human, the body, the mind. The breath work helps in regulating nervous system. Yeah. Some days the anxiety, like I had anxiety a few weeks ago, it was absolutely crippling. And I go to my meditation, and then I was able to see like, oh, I'm telling myself a story. A lot of times we're just not conscious. There's so much information coming. There's social media. There's all this noise. It's getting worse, and I think for our children, there's just too much information. I had a hard time, and I'm from the era where there was no phones, you know, and you are too, which is amazing. And I still struggled back then, but it's so important to just help people give people tools to support impulse control, kind of what you're doing. Mm-hmm. That's what we do when we go into jails. Like, can we pause enough to even see, you know, how we're responding and how the body's responding? And yoga in itself has taught me to, like, not just be here, but be in my heart, to be in my body, and then tap me into the spiritual side, which is another conversation probably for us.
So you do a lot of work with the chakras, and this is kind of a, you know, foreign term to most people, but we have 7 chakras, correct?
We have a lot. I mean,
or more than that.
Yeah, I mean, there's some lineages and some philosophies say there's hundreds and thousands in the body. Yeah, they're energy wheels.
Things get stuck inside of us. Energy areas get stuck, and we need to unstuck them. And am I speaking in the right terms there, that we get closed off in certain areas based on things that have happened?
Well, now we're talking about the subtle body, and modern science can debate it because it's not something that can be seen on X-ray or be proven scientifically in terms of physics, and so this is debated. It's a concept that we've given that more of the new age approach to yoga has offered to give, because a lot of people need something tangible and palpable to attach to intellectualize. And the chakra from a yoga philosophy standpoint is wheel. So when the body becomes contracted, the energy gets locked up and it creates blockages. And that is the concept. And is it proven? It's debatable. I have a lot of doctor clients who debate me on this, but I can tell you when we focus on these energy centers, there's 7 main ones, which is a new age approach to it. Mm-hmm. If you look back in some of the old school way of thinking, it's depicted very differently than how we have what we've created now. And then they've given colors just to give people something tangible. But yes, when the energy becomes locked up from fear, from trauma, from your nervous system, the idea is that through yoga, through meditation, through focus, through breath work, we can kind of release that. And it all really comes down to just regulating people or helping them regulate themselves, actually. I'm not really helping anybody. They're doing it themselves. We're just holding a place for them to do their own healing, so to speak.
So for the people watching right now, let's try to bring this back into, I'm feeling a bit off. I'm feeling stuck, or my mind is going over and over again with self-doubt. Like what are some things that the actual viewer can take in and start working on, and experiment with today? And if you would just start with breath, because you and I both know it's the framework, it's the keystone to everything. So what could the average Joe, I don't know if the average person, what could they do immediately that would change? They get a little feeling that something's changing inside.
Well, I mean, the breath work for sure, but believe it or not, I have a lot of clients, so to speak, or just practitioners struggle with that, with even just breathing. If you're highly traumatized, I know for the one facility that I'm working in right now as a holistic practitioner, especially the kids, and if you've ever had an anxiety attack, I don't know if you've had, but panic attacks, sometimes you can't even get the breath in. I mean, for sure, just a simple breath work, place your hands on your body and just breathe in and then direct the breath. 7 counts is what stimulates your vagus nerve.
So slow down on
the
that.
exhale.
Place your hands on your body, diaphragm and chest, or above chest?
Yeah, and a lot of us are very clavicular, am I saying that right? Breathers?
Yeah. So
where they just...
chest up, right?
And a lot of times when we're in a thought process, which is pumping adrenaline and cortisol, and when we're feeling anxious, it's very much in the chest and the throat, because your heart is beating stronger, and your throat is contracting, muscular. So that's why yoga helps, just getting some movement in there,
just
and
feeling that breath,
just helping
the diaphragm
become that dysregulated state into a more steady state. So, but sometimes I have people who are like, stop telling me to breathe, you're making me more anxious. I'm like, well, you're breathing because we're talking. But that deep inhalation where you can breathe to your stomach, which is, if you can get into it, it's great. But speaking to those who have a hard time with it, then I'll just tell them to tap on the sternum.
Okay. Just regular tapping right here.
Just gentle tapping. In this moment, all is well, with just a mantra. Because honestly, for me, I've noticed a lot of times I'm not in reality, I'm in the delusion. And that's why meditation can help so much. To just kind of pause and say, wow, I'm in some story here. I'm in some negative story of victimhood.
And we all can relate to this. We all have that mind flying, in a state of negativity and fear and self-doubt. When we go into the prison, when you ask them, what tool do you want? What can we give you that would make your life a lot easier? They all say the same thing. Just help me stop or control this thing, because I'm just caught in that negative loop. And I know you teach meditation, but it's so hard, especially for anyone to even pause for 30 seconds. I mean, it's like painful. It's like you're putting them in purgatory. Don't make me go into a... But so how do you teach at the most basic level a beginner to start to understand? Because I think, and I'll stop talking, I do think there's one part of meditation which is completely misunderstood, that thoughts are going to come in. That's part of it. But then just be noticing them, be aware of them, and then go back to your breath. But go
Or
ahead.
even like noticing them and then how true is it?
Yeah, so that's a big one. Yeah, Byron Katie work, right?
Yeah. I use something called just containment. Just where are my 2 feet? Just dropping the energy down to your feet, your toes, the bottoms of your feet, and just feeling the earth. Just a simple thing like that. Okay, just notice your feet, lift your toes, and then incorporating the breath work, especially if you're working with somebody who's extremely traumatized. And then, and then it segues to addiction and alcoholism, those are just protectors.
Yeah.
I think we have to really take the stigma away, from some of that. People just...
Yeah. You did mention, I think it's worth putting it on this podcast, for everyone just to look into the Byron Katie work, because it's just mentioned over and over again. And it's just 4 easy questions, right? I'll take the first 2, you can take the second 2. First question is this true? What this belief that I have in my head, is it really the truth? I mean, she doesn't like me. She hasn't called me in 2 weeks. She thinks I'm a complete idiot. Is that actually true? Question number 2. Is it 100%? Is it the truth? And then I can say, well, I think so. And then question number 3, which I'm sure, right?
Refresh my memory.
so if I take that belief and put it in my head that I believe, how does that serve me? How does that make me feel? And of course, how it makes me feel is uptight, anxious, tight. I mean, it makes me feel terrible. And then question number 4, what would it feel like if you could release that thought? Just let it go and go on with your life and just get rid of this thought that might be just hampering and holding you back. So, what would it feel like to let it go? Most people go, it would feel great. Well, you know what? It sounds goofy, but give it a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get stuck out of that loop that you're so conditioned. I mean, sometimes these stories are lodged into our nervous system and that's why therapy, life coaching, just processing can really help. For me, I love IFS, internal family systems, which is just like we'll take an instance and she incorporates like EMDR, tapping the body too, because a lot of times talk therapy is great, but that's why movement and breath work can really help.
Yeah. I mean, your yoga retreats are like sold out in a day. I mean, you've got a following, you've got a group of people that just run to you. And you've done a million of them out in Sedona, and you're up at Lundy Farm. But people just feel something in your presence, which is unique and special. And I think your superpower is your vulnerability. I think you come across not as the perfect person. You're willing to express and expose the challenges you've been through in your life. And you've got this power of really making people feel extremely comfortable, heard, seen, and safe in your environment. So do you try to do that purposefully, or do you think you just have that gift?
For me, it feels very organic and natural. I just have a ton of empathy, and I think anybody can improve that skill set. Yeah. I think people, and it's just, and you're with me on the retreats, you're helping, so your motivation. A lot of times people, and when we do the work in the jail and that population, they're so humble, they're so, when you're at the end of your rope and you've lost everything and the material doesn't work anymore and everything that, if you could just be with people in that hot loneliness, that emptiness, and just be with them and not try to fix it, I just can, I don't know. I just see, I try to listen to people and I just know how they feel, especially when you're dealing with people with anxiety. Like it's so crippling. Yeah. And depression, that emptiness, usually when we're depressed, it's this emptiness, they lose purpose, which is where your work comes in, like just getting people. And a lot of times that is the purpose. You can, how do I climb out of this? How do I help others? Service is a big way to get out of that. Just be of service to somebody and kind of get away from a little bit of the self-absorption, which is, but not spiritually bypassing things, just really going into, I think a lot of people have this deep unworthiness.
Well, I think that gift that you talk about, the gift of the challenge you've gone through. So you've been at that darkest level, and so have I. So when you see other people, and that level of empathy is just enhanced. When I watch you walk past a homeless person on the street, you don't walk past and go, good luck. You're there seated. You're there helping them. Most people don't have time. Your level of kindness, empathy, you always go that extra mile for people. And again, you seek out people who are really hurting. And I do think this is worth going back to in this hero's journey, which again, Joseph Campbell would say, it ends up, return the boon. Give back what you've learned. And there's plenty of people. And Maria, you're now what, 41?
Yeah.
Are you what? Almost 50, right?
I'm 51.
51, right? So you're 51 years old. You got everything going in your life. You got a great dog. You got a beautiful daughter. You got a great husband. You got a great life. I mean, come on, put your feet up and go to Aruba, will you? Or go downtown with the gals and do some shopping at Talbot's, and come on over to the Daily Treat and have a couple of I mean, you're spending your life just helping others. Like you've now dedicated this second mountain of your life. I mean, it's the second half. You've dedicated, and you're getting better and better, and I think more energized by doing this. So do you think this is something that people should think about doing?
Yeah, and I mean, listen, the homeless people, you ask my daughter, I definitely give money, and I've been told my empathy is going to get me killed. I've been told.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I've been told, it's dangerous and to be so scared. I don't know. I'll go there sometimes. Like when we go to the jail, you and I always joke, okay, let's just say a prayer. And I'm always like, you know what? If I get killed helping, then, I'm not fearing that too much anymore.
When David walks out with Goliath, he gazes up too, kindness. When you're in the same way, like you're being called here to do this. This is not just, I think I'll be a yoga teacher. No, you're being called to do this. You know it. And, the Bible says it over 365 times, of course, do not fear, because you're doing the right thing and being a good person. I think you're pretty well protected, don't you?
Yeah, and in terms of yoga teacher, people just saying, oh, just a yoga teacher, like every yoga teacher, and you're a yoga teacher too, you're offering people tools and modalities to regulate the nervous system and get connected. I mean, for addiction and alcoholism, there's this, I think that for me was a big disassociation, like just a way to just mask, and hide. And I'm very sensitive. Yeah. So now instead of using drugs and alcohol, and I feel like everybody's on something these days, even if it's just, and I'm not against like pharmaceuticals or whatever, plant medicine, people need, those are all tools. But for me, it was killing me. I mean, at the end, my anxiety was 10 times worse, especially with marijuana. And it just paranoia. It didn't work for my nervous system. So for me, opting out of everything, and then just, sometimes you need time alone, and, instead of checking out with alcohol, sometimes a room can feel very overwhelming.
Yeah.
I'm kind of going on a
it's
off our
great.
script.
So there's a TV show for all the elderly, the people who are the no longer the rookies, a little, and it was called Bewitched. And the character was Samantha Stevens and was played by Elizabeth Montgomery. And Bewitched had this so-called good witch, which I love that. I mean, and there's a part of Samantha and a part of you, Maria, that like there's a little bit of like, oh my gosh, she's got that sixth sense. And I've actually called you in situations where people needed.
Should we talk about that?
Well,
Without
remove
using names?
bad energy, remove, and you know it. Only you know this. This is a very intimate question. You know that you can connect with something a bit bigger than the quote unquote normal person. You know you're at that level, and you can sense other people's feelings, energy, and you also can sense environments. And you can be brought into an environment that might, and I don't know how to say it in witch-like terms, but it's kind of toxic, and it's got bad energy in it, and it needs to be cleared. And I know you do a lot of this. So where does that come from? And do you think that you've been given this unique gift?
No, I think it's a skill set everybody can enhance. When I started meditating longer, 60 minutes in the morning, just sitting quietly. At night, 30 minutes just to really drop in quiet. It got stronger. And again, some of this stuff I've had lengthy conversations because physics itself doesn't have anything that measures. Whereas like if you turn a light on you turn a TV on with a remote, there's some things that measure how that happens in physics, and they haven't really molecules from emotions. They haven't found anything yet to measure. But I can read a room, whether it's reading people's body language or just getting quiet. It served me.
Yeah, I love that.
It served me, and I think meditation is a way to enhance that skill set. But that cool story about one woman that you sent me was just kind of opened me up to a whole new.
Yeah, I think
world,
it's real.
but
I mean, one of the things we like to talk about, and I think it's good conversation. I think it's really important conversation that is oftentimes nudged away from by most people. It's too scary. But we've talked about death.
Yeah.
Which I'm always intrigued by because my dad died, when I was 9 years old. So death has been a part of my life, and ironically, you grow up as a young person and you miss more than anything your dad, and you believe that your dad is in another place, and so this fear of going to that place was never there. I mean, my dad's there. I mean, I'm not like I'm looking forward to it, but it seemed like a safe place to be when he's there. And so as you get a bit older, you're like, well, I wonder if Dad's really there. I wonder what's going on. But I'm so intrigued by your unique take on death. Could you share that with us?
Well, if I'm totally honest, I'm petrified of death at a human level. Yeah. At a human level, I mean, I want to be here. I want to be here with my family, my daughter, with you, doing this work, helping. But it's something that's coming for all of us. And I've worked with a lot of psychics and mediums and watched a lot of documentaries and studied with different religions. And, of course, it's all such a mystery. I mean, I can't, I wish I could say this is what happens. But I do have a belief system and just that there's more. We have had, there's enough documentaries out there that show people who have died and come back and their experiences on that. Yeah. So it's something I don't fear as much. I think an interesting story would be to share that one client of yours, we won't use names, who felt like she was being haunted, remember? Yeah. And then you sent her to me. Yeah. Should I share about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you called me and saying, oh, this woman needs you to come clear her house. And so I have my own little rituals that help me feel like I'm clearing it, whether it's using Palo Santo or just going around the room and just, I have my little tools, not to sound totally crazy to the audience, but you said, and I was like, you're like, can you help her? And I was like, well, I don't do Ghostbusters. I'm not like, remember that? Yeah. And I was like, but you could send her to me and we could do some ways for her to feel safe, because obviously that was her problem. She didn't feel safe. You were working. So for her energy and breath work. And right before that, 3 days before that, I had been meditating and I got a visual of a man. I'll never forget this. I could cry. It's just so crazy. And I got a name, and then you called about this person, and then she came to my house, and I forgot about that visual of the man, and I started doing just energy, just helping her breathe, and I got that person again. And she had said this time I could see him in my mind. This is the witch stuff I think you're talking about. I don't know. I don't think I'm a witch, but it's just, and I could see him, and remember, and then I said, "What's his name?" And she told me the name, and it was exactly the name I got. I was like so freaked out. And then I was like, "Can you show me his picture?" And then she showed me his picture, and I was like, "Oh my gosh." It just weirded me. It weirded me out. And I think that's just a development through meditation and all the yoga and all the quiet that I'm able to just see that you can tap into these realms.
Yep.
I don't know how to explain it. I don't. There's plenty of people who can. And I ended up going to the house, and it was so funny because when I walked in, I knew what room he was in. It was just so wild, like where he was. And I don't know what would ever happen. I didn't see her again. I don't know, maybe if you worked with her. But, she had called me like she just felt better. I don't know if she was getting asleep, but that just opened me up to this whole new world. And so then I've taken other trainings on what that was and what it is. And honestly, it kind of is the answer, I think, to some of my own anxiety, that maybe I'm just picking up frequencies of people.
Mm-hmm. No, I think you do, without any
so
question.
Weird. I know.
Okay, let's get loose and crazy for a little bit here. So, favorite all-time movie?
My favorite all-time movie is The Horse Whisperer.
Oh, I love it. Okay. Favorite kind of dog? This is a setup question.
Oh, I like rescues.
Yeah.
And that's my next
Bernese
focus is animals.
too, right?
Yeah, I love Bernese. I love all dogs, but anything that's a rescue.
Yeah. And are you a water person, or do you love water?
I'm a water sign. I'm a Scorpio. I love the mountains, so I do retreats in Sedona to the vortex energy.
Yeah, that's great. And your favorite all-time book?
I think any self-help book. I don't have one specific favorite. Yeah. Anything to do with empathy. What's her name? Judith Orlow.
Okay. Okay.
My favorite book is Huddle Up.
Oh, yeah. Girl, nice play. I give you a billboard. You can put it anywhere you want in the world. Big billboards for you, Maria, for being on the podcast. What would you put on it? Where would you put it? And why?
If I were to have a billboard,
what would you put on it?
On my social media, it's just stay connected to God and serve.
Yeah, I love it. And
God has a plan. You just need to execute it.
I love it. What would the tattoo be on your left forearm if you were forced to put a big word or symbol? What would it be?
So there's I want to get this tattoo. There's this Sanskrit. It's written in Sanskrit, but basically it's not my stuff.
Not my stuff.
Yeah, just like don't take on. This is not mine, because a lot of times I can go into resonance with people. Yeah. This is your stuff, and then Yeah.
So you seem so joyful, right? You seem like you've got this beautiful blend of humility, joy, creativity. You work hard. Looks like you've kind of put the whole thing together. But you're open enough to go, look, I'm a normal person. Once in a while I hit some low points, and I got to get myself back on track. Do you think that most people have those ups and downs? And what is your go-to strategies to bring you back on track?
I think a lot of people suffer from mental health issues and addiction and alcoholism. And honestly, in that world, we see a lot of people not make it. Because and a lot of people, sick people don't always look like sick people. They can look, and my scars are inside. So gratitude is key. I mean, as much as it's cliche and everybody uses it, and acceptance, gratitude and acceptance. And I honestly live like I've gotten out of I've gotten out of a life that most people don't get out of. If you look at like the Black Poster Project and you see people don't make it, especially in addiction and mental illness. And so gratitude and acceptance and being in the reality
Yeah.
is key, because what's the truth?
Come to grips with the real truth.
Kind of getting through the delusion.
Yeah.
You know, I've been given a second chance. I get like every moment we wake up, you have a full day in front of you. The past is a path. I love what you say to the guys in the jail, where you're like, I will never forget it, where you were like, forget your life up until this moment. Forget it. It's over. And they all were like, everybody just lit up.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You know, and you have just this 24 hours in front of you to play it. Look, the hands that you were dealt.
Yeah.
Everything's God's play in my mind, and like, how can you show up to it in a way that with integrity, with grace, and really just looking at your traumas and gratitude.
Well, that Tony Robbins quote is just keeps coming back and back and back and back. And if you believe it, it changes everything. That life is not happening to you. It's actually happening for you. And as you look back on your life and the dots connect, you realize that you are who you are today because of some of those quote unquote bad luck when it happens situations that, kind of ironically or paradoxically flipped into great luck. Because you and I teach this, the challenges you go through, the difficulties you face, the setbacks you incur are the ways that you've gotten strong, the ways that you've gotten insights and wisdom. So, you teach this, right? And you've become it.
It's the hero's journey.
It's the hero's
We're all on the hero's journey.
So we have just two more questions I'd like to end up with. So, Maria, you're headed on this journey, and if you just thought of things in a little bit more condensed way, is there anything that you would like to make sure you leave this life having done, so there wouldn't be that regret in the last quarter of your life?
From like a very superficial, there's some countries I want to go to. And I think I have one last goal this last quarter, which is a retreat center, because we do so many retreats, with an animal sanctuary piece to it.
Oh, great.
Animals. There's so many traumatized animals that need support. And as humans, we're a little, I should say we're all, including me, a little arrogant. That's another piece. Another population I want to serve more. I've already started. So other than that, just be present for my daughter, my kids, and just keep doing the work. I look at we say it, you and I say it all the time. If we die tomorrow,
we're fine.
It's okay.
Yeah, did the right stuff.
We've done so much. Yeah. And thank God I got out of that state I was in to shift, because so many people don't. They just live in their trauma. They live in addiction. They live in that negativity. Yeah. And there's so many people they could be serving.
Well, at one point the show is going to end for real, right? And the big buzzer will go off in the sky, and you'll be like, wait a minute, I thought there was more time on the clock. And then you will be there. And one thing I'm sure, the number of people that you have reached, the number of people who you have given in service to, the number of people that you've helped heal are gigantic. You are not the richest yoga teacher I know. In fact, you may not have the biggest car or the biggest house, but I think your richness is truly inside, and your richness comes from the fulfillment and satisfaction, because there will be miles of lines of people who you gave your love to, your inspiration, and your support to in this. And I think that's the way you measure fulfillment. So, bravo to you for the work you've done. It's not easy, is it?
It's not, because some people are just not receptive.
Yeah, but you don't give up, do you?
But it's okay. You just do it. You just try.
Yeah.
And you never know when you're planting a seed. I know there's my first drug rehab. I wasn't receptive, but it planted a seed. Yeah. And then eventually. Yeah. So we don't know, right, who we're helping. Right. And sometimes, I know for me and for all of us, and sometimes you can hyper focus on the ones who are resistant. Yeah. And that's something I'm working on. Like, just, okay, so just focus on who you can help. And honestly, it's like, we're not doing the healing. They're doing it. Yeah. We're just holding a container for them to heal themselves and just giving tools. And it's like, here you go. And if you can do it, you can do it. And if you don't, you don't.
Well, I don't know anybody who's interviewed for a podcast a good witch. So at least we got a first here. But if there is such a thing as a good witch, I think you check all the boxes there. And I think being a good witch is someone who's intuitive, who has this uncanny sense to sense other people, and then go out and help in a unique, special way. And, you know, you have been amazing what you've done. We're just so honored to have you on this podcast. And, you know, tell the gang where they could spot you or go to you on your, what's your MLS, MSL? How do they find you?
Well, before I say, I just want to thank you for being a soulmate on my journey. And basically people have helped me, and I just share it with others. Nothing I create is unique. It's something that was given to me, and I just share it, and I'm eternally grateful. MariaSalvatore.com or MSal Yoga is the social media.
Yeah, and
MSAL, like Maria Salvatore Yoga.
And so if you have anything, you're really intrigued by meeting someone, you know, Reiki master, tapping, sound, vibration, healing. I mean, you've got the whole package there.
Yeah, we do retreats and teacher training, and the teacher training is really just to teach some of the yoga philosophy, just the 8 limbs, it's a science and just steps to help alleviate your own suffering so you can share it with others. You know, it's just, I'm so grateful. Yeah. And maybe they get people to go also help in the jails. We need teachers, don't you think, Jim?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, Maria, so much. Thank you for watching. This is Coach Stroker. Visit us on CoachStroker.com and follow us on all the socials. And don't forget to subscribe to the R Zone. Have a great, incredible day. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you, Jim. Love you. Mwah.
The R Zone is supported by Native Nation Events. Visit nativenationevents.org to learn more.
Let's get you into the R Zone. Coach Jim Stroker has provided a bridge for inspiration and hope for people all over the world. Are you ready to transform your life and your leadership skills? Invite Coach Stroker to inspire your students or motivate your teams, offering personalized keynote speeches, dynamic workshops, inspirational life coaching, and comprehensive leadership training from Fortune 500 companies to students all over the country, to nonprofits and individuals. Empower yourself to become the best version of you with Coach Jim Stroker. For speaking, workshops, training, or coaching, work with Jim Stroker. Visit CoachStroker.com to start your journey today. Let's get into the R Zone.
For more, follow Coach Jim Stroker on socials. And be sure to subscribe to the R Zone podcast, available on all major platforms, including Spotify and YouTube.
And don't forget to pick up a copy of Coach Jim Stroker's new book, Huddle Up, available now on Amazon.
This production was recorded at Ignite Creator Studios, digital media and content strategy. Visit ignitecreatorstudios.com.